So, Formula One has a huge problem on its hands. But it's not happening on the track right now. It's all brewing inside the rulebook for 2026. We're hearing the sport's biggest stars call the future of F1 racing fake. And believe me, it has kicked off a political firestorm that could seriously redefine the sport as we know it.
And it all kicks off with this. This one quote from the reigning world champion Max Verstappen is basically the spark that lit the whole fuse. And no, he's not talking about a video game. He's describing what he thinks the future of Formula One is going to feel like. When a driver like Max says something like that, you can bet the entire sport stops and pays attention.
Okay, so what exactly is this Mario Kart problem? Well, it's this feeling coming directly from the drivers that the racing itself is becoming, well, artificial. They're worried that these new rules are kind of taking skill out of the equation and turning races into this weird game of who's best at managing their battery. And listen, it's not just Verstappen. His own teammate, Sergio Perez, has flat out called the racing very fake. The general feeling up and down the grid seems to be that races aren't being decided by gutsy overtakes or brilliant strategy anymore. Instead, it's just about who has the most juice left in the battery for the next long straight. It's becoming a game of energy management, not a true test of who's the best driver.
But why? Why does it feel so artificial? The drivers aren't just making this up. This fake feeling is a direct result of the new technical regulations coming in for 2026. To really get what's going on, we need to pop the hood and look at the science behind it.
This right here perfectly illustrates what everyone's calling the slinky effect. It's this super frustrating, predictable cycle. So car A uses a massive electrical boost to just fly past car B, but doing that completely drains its battery. So at the end of the street, it suddenly slows down and becomes a sitting duck. And car B, who had just passed, just sails right back by. It's this constant artificial yo-yoing that has drivers just tearing their hair out. And the key technical term you need to know here is clipping. This is that exact moment when a driver's electrical boost just cuts out. Imagine you're being pinned to your seat by this insane acceleration, and then boom, a huge chunk of that power just vanishes. That's clipping. And that's what turns a cutting-edge F1 car into a sitting duck.
And the culprit behind all this chaos? This number, 350 kilowatts. To put that in perspective, that's like bolting the power of 4 Formula E cars onto an already ridiculously powerful F1 engine. This massive electrical boost is what creates those incredible speeds, but it's also the very thing causing that slinky effect that has everyone so upset.
All right, so the problem's pretty clear, right? But what about the solutions? Well, the good news is the FIA is already working on a fix, and there are 3 main ideas on the table. So these 3 potential fixes are all pretty different. The first one is called ramping, and it changes how the electrical power gets delivered. The second one is pretty straightforward, just cut the power. And the third option involves giving more power back to the old-school combustion engine. Let's break these down a bit. Ramping would essentially smooth out that power delivery, so acceleration depends more on the engine again. A power cut from 350 down to 250 kilowatts would force teams to be a lot smarter with how they use their energy. And finally, increasing the fuel flow would shift the balance of power away from the battery and back to the engine. The hope with all of these is to make the racing less about Mario Kart and more about actual driver skill. But hey, this is Formula One. You know that every single technical change is going to spark a political war, and that is exactly what is happening right now. The technical problems are directly fueling all the off-track drama because every single one of these proposed solutions creates winners and losers, and that's ignited a classic F1 Paddock power struggle. The battle lines are already drawn. In one corner, you've got Mercedes. They are absolutely convinced they've cracked the 2026 code and are sitting on a massive advantage. And in the other corner, pretty much the rest of the grid, who are reportedly way behind on power and are lobbying like crazy for the FIA to step in and level the playing field. And this quote from Mercedes boss Toto Wolff, oh man, this is a masterclass in F1 politics. By saying that everyone loves the new rules, he's basically trying to shut down the whole conversation and protect his team's advantage. It's a classic move to make sure the millions and millions they've already poured into their 2026 engine don't go to waste. And this is exactly what's at stake. According to people in the paddock, Mercedes is miles ahead of the competition. Their closest rivals are supposedly down by 60 horsepower, and some teams could be a mind-blowing 100 horsepower behind. In Formula One, that's not a gap, that's a canyon. And that's why this political fight is so incredibly fierce. You see, this whole thing isn't just a debate about rules and engines. It's really a fight for the very soul of Formula One. It forces all of us to ask a really fundamental question. Do we want pure, raw, unadulterated racing, or are we okay with the more manufactured, predictable form of entertainment? This is the eternal struggle that really defines Formula One, isn't it? On one side, you have the teams with their armies of brilliant engineers who will do absolutely anything to find an advantage. And on the other side, you have the FIA, the governing body, whose job is to keep a level playing field and protect the integrity of the sport for all of us, the fans. Which brings us to the final and most crucial question. With drivers literally calling the racing fake and the teams basically at war with each other, should the FIA step in and change the rules? Or is it already too late? Have they gone too far down this road to change the fundamental DNA of the 2026 regulations? The entire future of Formula One could really depend on that answer.